first one that's pretty much confirmed. Vitinha. You're an expert.
All right, let's
Do you
go.
watch Liga
Let's
NOS?
go.
I
don't watch Liga NOS. I don't watch Liga NOS, admittedly.
I'll
wait, you actually
try-
were expert. My bad.
It's all right, man. Look, I'll be honest. I'll get my sofa score up just to remember. I've watched Porto a fair bit this season, and I said the same thing for Fabio Vieira. He's just signed at Arsenal. You got to take the players there with a pinch of salt because what have been so dominant this year that it's like kind of mad. Like, look, I think there's got like 3 players who scored over 20 goals, like 15 goals. But yeah, Vitinha's been in the midfield. Sometimes alongside Vieira, and he's a bit more box to box, I'd say, maybe a little bit more attacking. I was checking now, he's got 5 goals and assists as well, but he has good defensive work, right? I always remembered that for Porto in the league. They don't generally have to do a lot of defending, but I think he's still averaged over like 3 tackles interceptions per 90 for a team that dominant, that much possession. That's actually really good. And I think his dribbling as well, if I remember correctly, was pretty... Yeah. I mean, he was completing nearly 2 dribbles per 90, which, I mean, it's not Verratti levels, but I imagine his progressive carries to be close, which is moving the ball 10 yards closer to goal. He's been someone as well who's been spoken about for the last couple of years, I think, or more like the last year, as a quite high potential player. He's only 22 as well. So I think
his
he'd be
stamina?
better. Has his stamina? That's a good
Like,
question.
does he play 90? Let me look if he plays like the whole game.
Yeah, because honestly, like his ball striking technique reminds me of like a mix of Isco and Golovin. Like,
yeah,
I really hope he can be like that needle player for us that can play, like in between the lines to receive the ball, and we have somebody right beside Verratti that can hold down the fort in midfield, and then he can just like have a bit more freedom, have the most freedom of the midfielders, and just do his thing. But
yeah, I think as well he's come under a good coach. Sergio Conceição, I feel like you could argue he's the Portuguese Galtier. 4-4-2 deep block, very boring football. But what he is extremely disciplined. He doesn't promote youngsters until they're ready, like at all. He really likes to prefer to play older players. So the fact that Vitinha's made 30 appearances this season in the league does show his quality, and it would probably show as well that he's got the IQ and the discipline to play at a high level. So I think it's quite a good move. God.
The question here is, PSG, Luis Campos wants a 3 at the back. Can he play in a 2-man midfield, him and Verratti? Is that good enough?
Yeah, I'd assume so. He's been playing... I mean, it's not a 3 at the back formation, but he plays in a pivot at Porto. They play a 4-4-2, and they play that in the league, and they maintain that. So it's not like he's playing as a lone 6 or anything, or it's like an attacking midfielder. Like, he should work well in that.
Interesting.
PSG back 3 would be great.
What I noticed though, like in the Champions League games, that he had like 6 appearances, but only 1 start. So that does kind of lend itself to like the coach not really trusting, young players in like the big moments. But no, like everything else just seems interesting. Like he just seems like a really interesting player. Good technique, has that grit about him. Like his defensive numbers are really interesting. Like I'm interested to see how he adapts. But I feel like we're gonna need a 3rd midfielder, like to play with a midfield 3. Because I'm just more. I like to have as much midfielders as possible, like in the game.
Yeah. I mean, if we move on from Vitinha, Paredes extended 1 year. I remember when both of us were talking about who PSG should keep and sell, and we were talking about Paredes, and our problem with him was he had 1 year left, so PSG had to decide now to sell or. But now that they extended him, it's so good for the rotation or even him as a starter. We don't know yet. But at least now we have Paredes, Verratti, Vitinha, who are all good enough to be a midfielder at PSG.
I think Paredes is going to stay exactly the same as he is right now. That's the role that he's going to have. I don't see anything.
It's Renato Sanches. Is that a good move? Injury prone. I don't know if he runs that much in the field. Like, should we really go after Renato Sanches?
He runs.
It's so hard. His injury record is so bad. Do you guys might have missed it. The key thing I always bring up about Renato Sanches when I talk to English, like more English Premier League audiences, because he gets linked everywhere, is I remember last January 2021, right in the heat of Lille's Liga and push, and is when they were. It's Renato Sanches played the majority of the first half of the season, and he picked up a little injury, and he was coming back. And Galtier said in the press conference, this was Google Translate, but I'm pretty sure it was fairly accurate, that he can't throw Renato Sanches back in because when he plays on the pitch, the effort he puts in, he strains his muscle fibers, and he strains his muscle fibers so uniquely, it makes him more strenuous to injury, which I took as an actual translation as this guy is as fragile as glass, but when he plays, he's so good. So I feel like maybe if he is going to go to a team, it would make sense to be like a big Champions League one where he's not going to be forced to play every game. And, if you unleash him in Champions League games, he could run.
He's going to go crazy. He's going to go crazy.
He was amazing against Chelsea in that second leg.
He was the best. The first leg. It was first leg at the bridge. Sorry, and he was the best player on the pitch for me. Yeah. And he was playing on the right side of the 4-4-2 of the midfield. And he was just absolutely destroying Alonso, getting past Conte. Like, I was like, he looks incredible. And at the Euros as well, against Belgium, against France, against Conte and Pogba in midfield, like, he was unbelievable. Like, he's just a big game player to me. Like, in the big games, he just shows up. So, but
can he play
injury? It's the injury record.
Two-man midfield, that's a tough one.
He could. Maybe. Like, with the three at the back, he could.
He did as well in the first half of the Lille season when they won the league. I think it was the second half of the season where PSG was just saying as well, like, he got played more and more by Galtier as a right-sided mid to kind of, that's when they're overloading them, like, the Lille midfield to try and win games. But he did actually play in a pivot and in a back three. That could probably make sense. It'd be interesting though how he'd fit in, because I think he does drift wide. So you probably wouldn't want him motoring into where Hakimi probably wants to be on the pitch. But he'd be an interesting fit, and he'd be a big game player.
What I want to look at is how are his injuries? Is he like out for 2 weeks here and there?
It looks like it's all muscular related, I guess.
Yeah, so his injuries this season, once he missed 2 games, once 1, once 9, once 1, once 1, once 1, once 5, once 5, once 2, once 5, once 4.
Games. He's had 9 injuries since the start of last season.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's like really bad.
Muscle injury, meniscal injury, thigh problems, muscular problems, muscle injury.
He has an explosive style, you know what I mean? So I guess it puts a lot of strain on his body.
Yeah, that's what Galtier was saying.
But as you were saying, if we don't have to use him every game, maybe these injuries don't happen. Maybe if we play him 2 games, he can rest 1 game, playing 2 games. Maybe that suits him.
I guess the negative would be, like, going off there, I feel like with Renato, I mean, personally, like, we were just looking at his injury record, it might be more like play him 1 game, rest him 2 games. Like, is he a guy who's going to be able to train every day as well? Like, with that injury record, he's only 24? That's so mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They can manage it. I don't know if we can get a good specialist or something. I don't know. That's what they paid. This is what y'all pay for. So if they're getting him, if Campos is getting him, Campos better know what he's doing. I'm gonna just say
what you do. You play him 18 times a season, and those 18 times are in the Champions League as he gets to the final. You don't play him at all in Liga.
Only Champions League games. But that's the thing. He can be. I think that at PSG he won't get injured as much because he's not as vital as he was in Lille. So maybe he doesn't need to outrun people. That's why Verratti was always getting injured before. Because when you play him with 2 bumps, of course he needs to run more and the risk of getting injured gets higher. But if we play like Verratti, Renato, Vitinha, Paredes, I mean, who's stopping that?
I'm rocking with that. But see, you know what though? What we need now though in that midfield, like that's a nice 4 rotation. Now we need a 5th guy for the rotation, and we need someone who's tall. No, not a youngster. We need someone who's tall.